Madame Jerry. Most people don't realize that's a sketch for her in the auction. That there's a lady sitting on a chair over there in the auction that's actually Madame Jerry because you haven't met her yet. You don't know that that's her, so I thought I would show the sketch. Okay. There's our original Madame Jerry for this company. Finished. I'm going to go back. Because that's how it starts. It starts in muslin once again. And we have, because it has to fit her so perfectly. This one we spend a lot of time making sure we get it exactly right, like where the bone placements are and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Side view. And then she wears a little capelet over it for masquerade. I don't have a picture of her in the finished one, but we have. Oh, sorry, there's her finished costume. This one's made out of silk. This is actually woven in watermark silk. The original one was made out of a piece of, I can't believe this, antique watermark silk that instantly rotted apart. So now we actually have a modern, there's a factory in France that makes this. And so we can actually make it out of something that's really close to the original antique fabric. But that's the final. And there's Maureen Dodson, who also understands Madame Jerry with the cape, all done with it. Okay. And there's our current Madame Jerry, and that's her fitting photo. And you can see what I had to do, so we just used an existing pattern for her because I'd never met her before. So at the fitting, I can actually pin bits of paper on it and stuff like that and get it to look to be longer. If we need to be longer, which is what we did for her. Okay? The managers. So there's John and his muslin fitting. Even the scarf, can you believe it? Go ahead. So there he is all done with his fur. They all get it. We actually have real fur in the show. I'm sorry if there's some people that don't like that, but we actually have real furs. Yeah. Lawson in his first get-up with his oak dress. There we go. And then in his beautiful suit. The vest fabric, we have a beautiful antique Victorian vest that I have as a sample back there, well guarded. That it's a silk and linen brocade. But then the collar is the basic plain fabric, and then the vest body is all over embroidered. The original one, of course, is done by hand, but this one we actually have manufactured here. We do it by machine. It's called Bonaz embroidery. So we actually have to take a lot of practice and have them modified to get those beautiful, the same quality as we do on a real period garment that we're copying. Yes, but they wear tail suits to the office every day. Can you imagine if y'all had to do that? Okay, next. And then John and his is also an embroidered vest. That's for daytime wear, mind you. I think they have to wear at night. Masquerade, that's what they do, keep the cape on. And they have to dance in these. So again, they have to, those are like, they only have a single closure here, but they have all kinds of contraptions underneath to keep them on so that they can move around and dance in, even though there's a ton of fabric. Everybody's favorite, the Skeletor. In this one, we get the guy in a white unitard, and then we draw his bone structure on him, which is very ticklish, because somebody's actually drawing on you with pencil, on your actual ribs and your knee bones and all that kind of stuff. So it's very funny to fit because everybody's always giggling. There's Meg and her. Okay, next. There's her sketches. All of Maria's original sketches actually are big sheets of paper and they're little pictures, so I thought I'd show you some of them all together, how she did them. Because the next one is, this is actually the fastest quick change in the show. Because we've tightened up the show so much, obviously, because there's no intermission. It's really fast in the regular show, but it's even faster in this one. So she has to actually get that thing on her and take our costume to get back out here in time. Okay? And then, there you go, the masquerade costume. I think there was somebody here who had that on one side.
Yes, me.
Anyway, so I thought she had that one, because there's the, there she is. Okay. Raoul. Okay. That's him as an old man. Timmy always scowled in his photographs, so I thought, okay, it's more menswear. We'll just get some photos of him. Anyway, does he look happy? Anyway, Raoul is daytime tail suit. Okay. And there is the, where's my masquerade guy? See that here somewhere. This is the one that the tailors actually, they hate thinking about making it, and then by the time they get it done, they can't stop talking about how much fun it was to do. There's actually a padded chest in there, and all that trim. Notice how none of it's actually straight. It curves at the top, curves up at the bottom. It has to all be meticulously sort of, so they spend hours looking around with it before they actually get it sewn down, but once it's done, it's a great costume. Okay. And there's Patrick and his fitting. That's how we fit it, actually. We fit it in muslin and just draw on blood to try to make sure we get the placement of all those things right. Okay. That is perfect. Okay. Every time we do a show, a brand new kind of the opera, the producers always say to me, how can we cut the cost down on this show? And I say, cut men and fair neck. And they will never let me do it because it's Hal's favorite costume. It's Hal's favorite costume. He won't let me cut it. So we keep making it. But because we also have to make one for our swings. Unfortunately, we have to make a lot of these. Anyway, so that's how it starts. It starts all in muslin. All the ruffles on that are paper. Because every time you send fabric out to be pleated so that it doesn't burn, they actually pleat it between two pieces of tissue paper. And so you have all this mountains of pleated tissue paper laying around the shop that we used to cut boxes with. Well, now we also use it for this. And how we set where that trim goes is just quarter-inch gaffer tape. So we can move it around really easily. And this dress, because it's asymmetric, it has two sides, so we always do left photographs of that. And then there's the back view. The richest woman in Paris, her dress. And there she is all finished. That's the back view. Now she also has to climb a ladder in this. Did I tell you that? Next one. There's one of the understudy, one of the covers. Where's your cover part? Now, there's some challenges to making this dress. Believe it or not, we had to put, there's soft little chenille fringe that's behind here, because when Madame French walks, this is all glass beads, and the beads clang together, and it gets picked up by her microphone, and it goes. So we had to put a baffle back here so that the beads don't clack so hard. Anyway, this stuff is actually like, it's a piece of, there's horsehair in here that's got a piece of ribbon that then is pipe, then there's another piece of ribbon behind here that's got velvet edges on it. That's from France that you can still get at Heim and Hammer if you can get time in the Hammer. Anyway, you can see the pleating. There's actually, see the edge of this? 4 different pieces of trim on the edge. And then it goes, so you put all the ribbon onto this, and then you send it to the pleaters. And needless to say, because it's sunburst pleated, there's like hundreds of yards. So one of the challenges of making this dress is just finding hundreds of yards of something to put on the edges of the dress. Yes, they all love wearing it, which is why I thought we would like, like a princess. She's the richest lady in Paris. What else is she going to wear, So anyway, just run along so they can get good pictures of you. Just take a little tour, walk slow. But that's its humble beginnings there. Fifi Fairman. We call her Fifi. They were calling her Bunny Fairman for a while because they decided it was a good name for somebody who probably would belong to, country club if they had Bunny Fairman. Fifi is really what we call her now. So we have a good time proportioning this one because it has to be right on every girl. Because of course it wouldn't be custom made for everyone. Anyway, thank you so much, my darling. Monsieur Lefebvre, who is Doug, is right here today? No, anyway. This is one of everybody's favorite costumes that's on stage from the beginning and then he goes away. But it's a great cape. And he wears it well. Okay, next. Ah, yes, the production numbers. Okay. To start in the auction, there's a lot of costumes that, again, the darkness, nobody's ever seen. Well, the auctioneer, you only see them from here up, but we make the whole thing. There's a lot of porters that carry things around. This is how we usually fit them in. The pants are real, the aprons are real, but we fit the jackets in muslin. And there's Donald, all finished, with his apron slightly askew. Go ahead. This is one of the auction bidders. It's Joni Sobel. I think she sits over here. These costumes are unbelievably fun to make. The shops love doing them, and the hats are very, very silly, as you can see.